Ben, 24 minutes on the clock. You're down to 10 men, away from home at Anfield. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? There's so much fight in this team, and it showed today. And we dug deep and got the result that we needed, really.
Did you think it was a red card?
I don't know. He's looking at the ball and he doesn't know where the man is. But it is what it is, and the boys done well today.
How did you regroup? Because there was a time, wasn't there, where Mikel Arteta was wondering who was coming on, who was coming off. What were you doing then as a team?
Trying not to concede. It's hard enough to come here with 11 men and to get one sent off straight away is not good, but absolutely superb from everyone today.
Arsenal have played with a back three, but not a lot since you've come this season, have they? How easy was it to play like that?
It's not easy at all, especially against a team like Liverpool. It's tough. You have to concentrate the whole game, and bit of luck we had, and the result is well deserved, I think.
Was it exhausting work?
Yeah, that was terrible. It's nice to defend like that as a defender, and to keep the clean sheet and go in with a point in the next game. Yeah,
you speak about a bit of luck. Minamino's effort at the end, I presume you're thinking that's going to hit the back of the net.
Yeah, I was on the goal line, ready to try and block it, but lucky I didn't have to.
Explain to us then how you can put in a performance as a team at Nottingham Forest on Sunday and then play like that today with 10 men.
I think that's football, isn't it? Some days it's your day and some days it isn't, and today was.
Set it up beautifully, hasn't it, now for the second leg?
Yeah, for sure. We were confident coming here, and we're going to give it our all for the next game.
Well done tonight. I think you'll sleep well this evening, and you are the Carabao man of the match if you'd like to pick up the trophy. Well done.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Ben White summing it up very well indeed. Not ideal, is it, going down to 10 men after 24 minutes worth of football? Certainly looked, Paul, like he put a shift in. He absolutely did put a shift in. Defensively, so much credit for Arsenal coming out of this game, isn't there? Oh,
you've got to say that. To play that long with 10 men and to keep Liverpool to minimum chances. One real good chance at the end by Minamino, but bar that, very comfortable. Very comfortable. All about attitude. Liverpool made it easier for Arsenal. I'm not going to, but credit where credit's due. Critics and me being one of them over the last 5-6 years defensively, the way they can capitulate in certain games. Today they stood up, every player. They had a set way of playing. Arteta got them in at half-time. He set them up and they all worked. And when you play with 10 men and you play like the way they played at the end, everybody's got to put a shift in. The minute one person doesn't put a shift in, it's good night. It's good night and you get opened up. And they all worked their socks off today. They should be really proud of themselves. And the manager as well. Because, it's easy to say, how can you put in a shift like that today and you get beat at Nottingham Forest? It doesn't work like that, does it? It was one of them. It's a different team, different players. And sometimes, like today, when you go down to 10 minutes, it becomes a little bit easier because you've only got to play in a space of 40-yard football match. You're not worried about the other 60 yards up there. All you've got to defend is this 40. And in the end, they counter-attack well. They should be... I've been one of their biggest critics over the years. Today, absolutely outstanding, but Liverpool did make it easy.
To back up Paul's point that he's making there with regard to the approach from Liverpool, statistically, this is how the game broke down, of course, was that red card for Granit Xhaka. Attempt 17, just one on target for Liverpool and a very close XG between the two sides. Obviously, dwarf possession, 78% to 22%, and 45 touches in the opposition box. So going off what Paul said there, Jamie, does that then mean that the overriding emotion from Liverpool's point of view is pure frustration?
Yeah, and this was something we mentioned actually between ourselves and before half-time. It wasn't a case of Liverpool had to score before half-time, get to half-time. And I was convinced Jurgen Klopp would make a change. I cannot believe Liverpool came out with the same 11. Not that anything was not working in the first half, but Arsenal down to 10 men. You've got a very workmanlike midfield. And the substitution he made, I think the first one, James Milner, comes off on the hour. That had to be made at half-time.
Because the frustration that you saw watching a picture where Jurgen Klopp's talking to his assistants, beavering away on whatever kind of apparatus that they've got when they've had 15 minutes to talk about that at half-time to make that change. Why then wait for that period of time?
I don't understand it, and that was probably one of the things probably the only thing I can question Jurgen Klopp at times. Does he make substitutions early enough? And I just think when that sending off happens, there's a good 15-20 minutes before half-time for you to be speaking to your assistant. How are we going to go about this in this sort of second half? That's the chance to get your team in, maybe make that change, being more on the front foot, give the instructions that the players need. Listen, Liverpool still didn't do enough in that last half an hour with the extra attacking players on, but I just thought it was really strange that Liverpool didn't make that change and almost set the stall out early on about what they wanted to do, because it was a very workmanlike midfield, and against 10 men, against Arsenal, it certainly wasn't needed.
Let's go back to the 24th minute then. We heard from Jamie at half-time with regard to the Granit Xhaka red card for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. We didn't hear from you, Paul, at half-time. What was your take on it?
This is what Liverpool wanted. They wanted the game to get open, become a bit gung-ho, and that's what happened here. Then Arsenal, I know Jamie's saying nowadays they go and close down, but everybody who went and closed down was in no man's land. No one got close to anybody. So really, for me, Gabriel's got to use his brain and go, I'm not going to get anywhere near him, so I'm just going to stay back. And here, the goalkeeper's been outstanding. He has to come. He has to come. And if he comes, Jota has a major situation. Does he even go for it? And if a goalkeeper comes steaming out from 30 yards away, you know, you're looking at Victoria Cross if you want to get involved in that. You know, it's very rare someone's going to get involved. I think the goalkeeper's positioning, as soon as they all go and chase and he sees that the centre-half's gone in as well, he's got to be another 10 yards up on his box. You know, no one's going to score from 60 yards. You know, and if he's up there, I don't think Robertson even hits that ball. You know, Robertson's that good a player where he will see where the goalie is. And I just think the goalkeeper who's been outstanding, I think there has let Xhaka down, really, because he wouldn't have got sent off.
The interesting thing what Mace mentioned there, and I spoke at half-time, when you give players a message now about how they play, I think a lot of teams and managers now, they never really changed how they play, whether they're home or away. Whereas when we played, at times you'd be like, okay, we'll go after the opposition, or today we'll play counter-attack. And the message is, right, we press high, your attacker goes in there, you're going in and behind them. And what Mace is saying, 20 years ago, Tony Adams was probably saying, no, I'm coming back. And I just think sometimes players don't actually think for themselves. They've been given a message. This is how we play.
Literally. Yeah. This is how we're always going to play. This is what we're going
to do. But the situation, you think, it's at Anfield. We've counter-attacked them. They're now doing it to us. And you think, just get your men behind the ball. And what they actually do is make the attack quicker for Liverpool. I think that's just something that, you know, we debate all the time. Should a manager at times change his idea for certain games or in certain situations? And should players actually understand the situation a lot more rather than thinking, this is what the manager wants me to do?
There was one attempt on target for Liverpool. There was a glorious chance, which definitely wasn't on target toward the end of the game. Minamino. Jamie, I mean, how can we mitigate for a miss such as this in a game of this magnitude?
You can't, just no composure. He panics, runs into it, and, I mean, he hits it with his laces. If he shows some composure, he almost just waits for the ball to bounce up and he just side foots it in. But in a nutshell, that summed up Liverpool tonight and also summed up Minamino's Liverpool career. It just hasn't happened for him at all, really. He was brought in, a bit of promise, not a big transfer fee, but he's never really done an awful lot in the Liverpool shirt. And as I said, that probably sums it up.
So a glaring miss, but what also was glaringly obvious for Arsenal was the shape that they adopted in the second half when they went, well, obviously over an hour's worth of play for 10 men. Very definitive in the way that they went about this. That takes a lot of communication, Paul, doesn't it? And a lot of energy that's expended.
Yeah, and as I said, everybody's got to work hard. As soon as one person don't do their job, then you're going to get found out. But Liverpool made it easy. You know, when you're playing against that situation, you've got to play like a power play in ice hockey. The ball's got to be moved quick. It's got to keep on going across the pitch, keep on going. And someone will fall asleep in the end. You know, one of the centre-halves or whoever it may be, or the full-back, will watch the ball. And then all of a sudden, they won't watch their player. But as Jamie said before, they haven't got anybody in midfield who's going to put the ball through the eye of a needle. You know, I don't ever watch Liverpool play by Trent Alexander, really, where... You know, if I'm watching Man City, I watch Kevin De Bruyne, people like that, and I go, How did they see that pass? Where was that? I don't see that with Liverpool. I don't see that.
Liverpool's midfield is set up differently, and they always play the pass you expect them to play. So when you're watching a game, you think, OK, pass it there, pass it there. You always sort of want header pass yourself when you're watching a game. And Liverpool midfield players always play that pass. That's not a criticism because they're in the team for different things. So, you know, the creativity comes from the full-backs. We know that. The workaholics in Liverpool's central midfield. But Liverpool's full-backs were really poor today. Their actual delivery within the game and set-piece delivery was really poor. I mean, Trent came off. I know he's had a problem, obviously, with COVID. But the delivery from out wide, we saw some set-piece delivery was so poor. And that's where normally their quality comes from.
In a game such as that, Paul, when you are down to 10 men, chances come few and far between. Bukayo Saka had a fantastic opportunity. Are we being a bit harsh when we say he should have done better here?
No, he should have done better. He should have done better. He's an international and he's a good player. You know, these pitches are carpets. You know, he's probably just got to soften that a little bit more. He's just got to take a little bit off that. But it's excitement. You're playing at Anfield. It's the semi-final of the Cup. You haven't touched the ball for the last, been under the cosh. And it's just, it's quick reaction. You know, maybe I'm a bit harsh on him because he's a good player. If he wasn't a very good player, then I would think, no.
It's the first touch more than the actual finish.
Yeah,
when he goes
it's
to
all
finish,
about the first.
No,
it's a great save after that. You know, he gets there and it's a good save. But the first touch would have made it. He would have made it. He would have scored. But fair play to him. He got into that position. You know, he got in there and it's just a touch. But he's a good player, and that's what I like about Arsenal. There, you know, even with 10 men, they still went and had a go, and they caused problems. And you know, they did really well tonight. They did well. I know Liverpool weren't great, but you go to Anfield, play against 10 men. My biggest worry, if I was a Liverpool fan, Salah and Mane. If they played tonight, it's a different story. And it just shows you. I watch other teams play, and I watch Man City could take 2 players out of their team. Wouldn't really take 2 out of Chelsea. Not really. Take 2 out of Liverpool. Completely different team.
That's always been the way. Liverpool have had a great 13 or 14 players that they really rely on, and what Mercer's saying there, when you look at Chelsea, whether it's Ziyech or Pulisic or Mount or Werner or Lukaku, there's not too much difference. The big thing where Liverpool, I wouldn't say be lucky, but what's brilliant about Salah and Mane is not just their ability. They're never really injured. They play every single game. So they've been there for sort of 5 or 6 years now, the two of them. Very rarely do you ever see them. And that's probably the most important thing in football, if you get players actually on the pitch. But that'll be a worry. They've still got, obviously, Brentford at the weekend, the return leg of this, another league game away at Crystal Palace. And I think the opposition will be looking at that thinking there is a big drop-off, as Mercer's just said.
The thing is with Mane and Salah, they run without the ball. They make runs. Today it was very... I call it Subbuteo football. You know, everybody was in their same positions. You know, you never see anybody making a run in and someone coming on the outside. And I think that's where Salah and Mane are phenomenal players. They're prepared to run without the ball, and they make runs like they're going to get the ball. You know, so if you're marking Salah and he goes, you've got to go because he sprints. He doesn't jog. And I thought today it was a bit slow.
Well, Joseph, what a party.
Yeah, it was a great victory for the players, the fans, and everyone.
What do you think about your performance?
I think it was good, and each game it keeps getting better.
We need this match, no, with 3 goals.
Yeah, it was really great because we fought hard for this victory, and everyone deserves to be happy.
Bueno, es el mejor partido de la temporada en lo que va de Liga, ¿no?
No sé si el mejor, pero sí el que hemos sabido jugar con el marcador a nuestro favor, que nos estaba costando mucho. Y sobre todo felices por ganar en casa, porque nos estaba costando muchísimo. Desde que hay público en el estadio solo habíamos ganado un partido de no sé cuántos. O sea que hoy el partido creo que era fundamental porque nos ponemos también a 3 puntos del Español, que es un rival directo, para alejarnos de ahí abajo, para irnos tranquilos de vacaciones y pensar en lo que viene.
Con el partido contra el Valencia también nos ponemos por delante, pero el Chacho se quejaba, ¿no? Un poco que nos había faltado controlar el partido. Hoy es lo que tú dices, ¿no? Se ha conseguido.
Bueno, sobre todo hoy no hemos tenido errores individuales que nos pagaron contra el Valencia. Creo que es un partido para sacar conclusiones positivas. Hemos vuelto a ganar en casa. Tenemos que hacernos fuertes aquí de lo que queda de temporada, porque fuera de casa sí el equipo está respondiendo bien y tenemos que seguir esta línea.
Cuéntame el gol, ¿no? Porque ha sido una jugada rápida, pero cuando te ha llegado ha sido como mucha pausa, las pican. ¿Cómo ha sido?
Bueno, recibo de Hugo, controlo y normalmente Diego López suele salir a tapar. Veo muchos partidos y Diego López en los 1 para 1 suele salir a tapar, entonces yo controlo y él no ve lo que voy a hacer, entonces intento picársela un poquito y cruzársela con tranquilidad.
¿Cómo ya tocaba? Tocaba, pero ahora mismo sentimos una alegría inmensa, ya no solo por el partido, sino estamos trabajando como el que más, estamos en el día a día muy sacrificados, con los pies en la tierra, con humildad, y al final somos una piña y hoy nos lo merecíamos y se lo merecía también la afición, que pues mira, no estamos ganando, no nos están saliendo los partidos en casa y aún así la afición cree en nosotros, nos apoya y nos transmite el cariño día a día. Eso te iba a decir, has dicho que sois una piña equipo, pero la afición también, hemos visto ese momento tan bonito ahí en la esquina. Sí, sabemos que le debemos mucho a esta afición, no solo de esta temporada, sino que por desgracia hemos vivido un par de temporadas muy jodidas sobre todo a nivel mental, muy difíciles de sacar, y las hemos sacado esas temporadas gracias al apoyo de ellos. En otra situación, en otro equipo, la afición lo dejaría de lado, y aquí cuanto peor iban las cosas, más estaban con uno y con el equipo. Y eso es de agradecer y se lo agradeceremos hoy, mañana y en un futuro. En lo personal, vuelves después de varias semanas que parecía que sí, pero al final no, 90 minutos con asistencia. La verdad que bueno, no estoy al 100%, pero creo que he podido ayudar al equipo. Venía de mucho tiempo parado, unos problemas que no se me daban ido. Entrenaba, tenía que volver a parar, volví a aparecer, volví a parar. Bueno, espero que ahora sea el fin de esta lesión del carajo, porque ya estoy frito, y que pueda ayudar y contribuir al equipo. Saca 2001, 2022...
por el 2022 a tope. Tenemos que seguir con los pies en la tierra, saber quiénes somos, de dónde venimos, y con esta afición, con el equipo, con el compañerismo y el sacrificio. No quiero ser pesado, pero creo que son las claves para mirar hacia adelante en un futuro.
Gracias, Hugo.
Gracias a vosotros.
Gracias, Hugo.